This is a real playable video game, and 20 minutes ago, it didn't even exist. It started as a single picture on my screen. Then I typed one prompt, and that picture became this: a video game running in a browser that I can hand to you with a link right now. And by the end of this video, we'll be able to turn almost any image into a game like this one. But I want to be straight with you about something. When I say one prompt, that doesn't mean one magic button, because behind that prompt is an agent that actually plans the game, generates all the art, writes the code, and puts it online for us. So it's not a trick. It's a real workflow, just a really fast one. And we're doing the whole thing inside Higgsfield Games. It keeps all my AI work in one place, instead of bouncing between a dozen different tools. So we'll start by turning one image into our first playable game. Then we'll make a whole range of them across completely different styles. And right at the end, we'll turn one of these games into something you can play with other people through a single shared link. But before we build anything, let's quickly get our bearings. We'll open up Higgsfield and head into Supercomputer. Then we'll click on Games, describe the game we want, and hand it an image to build from. There's no engine to learn or anything to install for this first step, because the agent will then go to work, plan the game, build the world, and write all the code. And when it's done, it'll hand us a link to our game, ready to play and pass on. So let's give it our first image and watch this happen in real time. For step 2, we'll take the character image I showed you at the beginning and upload it into the prompt box. A clean character on a plain background reads the best, because the tool lifts that character out and builds the entire world around it. Next, we'll give it one short prompt describing the game we want: a bright platformer where we run and jump across platforms collecting coins. Now there's one quick thing to know here: if we don't tell it what art style we're after, it'll pause and ask us first before it builds anything. We can pick a style and a setting right here from these presets, or just type it into our prompt. Either way works. And this is where it gets interesting, because watch what it does with that one sentence. It breaks our game down into every single piece it's going to need: an animated character, the coins, the obstacles, and even a finish line. And in a couple of minutes, this is what we get back: a finished, playable platformer. Our character matches the image, the coins disappear when we grab them, and there's even music and sound. Remember, this all came from one image and one sentence. And that's the whole idea, in its simplest form. But let's see how far we can push it, because that exact same game can become something completely different. So in step 3, we'll switch over to Images and create a character that's a little darker. Let's select Nano Banana Pro as our model. It's fast and handles just about any character or style we throw at it. And from there, we'll just describe the character we want: a lone knight in dark armor. Remember, all prompts used in this video are linked in the description. After generating our image, we'll head back into Games and ask for the same run and jump platformer, but set in a dark and ruined castle. And what we get back is the same genre we just built, with a completely different soul. Now there's one trick worth stealing here. When we go this dark in tone, the important stuff can get lost in the shadows. But in our prompt, we can just tell it to keep the gameplay elements bright. That's why our character and the shards glow, while the dangers are marked in a bright warning color. This way, everything we need to actually play stays easy to read, even in the dark. So that's one style transformed into another. But what if we change the genre completely? Well, let's go from running and jumping to running and gunning. This time we'll create a tougher character, a sci-fi soldier. Then we'll load that up in Games and ask for a top-down shooter style, the kind where we move around and blast waves of enemies. And here's the part I didn't expect. We uploaded our soldier facing straight forwards, but a top-down shooter game needs to see him from above. So without us asking, it rebuilt our character from a top-down view so he'd fit the game perfectly. The soldier aims wherever our mouse goes and fires when we click. So in 3 games, we've gone from a sunny platformer to a dark castle to a full top-down shooter. And we're just getting started, because so far, every character we've used has been a cartoon. But watch what happens when we feed it something real. And this is where we'll switch over to Higgsfield Soul 2.0 to create our start image. It's the model built for photoreal, lifelike people. Let's go with an image of a rugged male adventurer in a worn leather jacket. And that looks like an actual photo of a real person. Now let's push our luck. We'll ask Games for the most ambitious thing we can: a fully photorealistic 3D action game that's as lifelike as possible. But here's where it gets crazy, because instead of just building it, the tool stops us. And it's honest with us in a way I genuinely wasn't expecting. It tells us that a true photoreal 3D character made from one photo would actually come out looking like a melted mannequin. So rather than waste our time, it offers us a better route, one where every part of the game is a real, rendered image instead of a clumsy 3D model. So we'll take it. And this is what we get: a cinematic action game that genuinely looks like a movie. Our character moves through a burning, ruined city, taking cover and fighting off enemies. And it looks this real because every single thing on screen is a real image, not a fake 3D world. Now this is worth remembering for your own games. Sometimes the tool will stop and ask or push back before it builds, and that's it steering us away from something that wouldn't have worked towards something that does. So that's a real photo turned into a game that looks like a blockbuster. But what else can we throw at it? Well, let's see what happens when we lighten things up. We'll make a cute little character and turn it it into an endless runner. This'll be the kind of game where we're always moving forward, and we just tap to jump over whatever's in our way. And after a few moments, we have the perfect little pick up and play game. Our panda runs on its own and jumps to grab as many coins as possible, plus it gets faster the longer we survive. So that's 4 completely different games, from 4 simple images and a single prompt. But we've been in 2 dimensions this whole time, which raises one obvious question: what if we go fully 3D? And to answer this, we'll make a simple, blocky little character and ask for something we haven't tried yet: a full 3D world that we can actually explore. And just like that, we're roaming an island with real depth in every direction. The camera follows behind us, and there are gems to collect, scattered all over. Now remember earlier, when the tool refused to make us a realistic 3D person, this is the other side of that, because a simple blocky character like this is exactly what it can build in true 3D. So instead of faking it, it rebuilt this character as a real 3D model and dropped it into a world we can roam around in. But this first run isn't exactly perfect, because as I'm playing and collecting gems, the controls are backwards. Pressing up sends the character down, and left sends it right. So we'll just tell the agent that our controls are inverted and ask for a solution. And with no new settings or any starting over needed, the model sorts it out in seconds. That's the part that makes this feel less like a tool and more like working with someone. And speaking of working together, this 3D island is about to become the game that ties everything together, because so far we've been playing all of these games alone, and everyone we've made has been sitting on its own link. But actually, publishing these games does a few more things worth knowing about. When we publish, our game gets a permanent home on the Higgsfield Games Marketplace. That means anyone can find it and play it right there in their browser. They can even remix the game and build their own version on top of it. And these games aren't limited to a computer. They play right in a phone's browser too. So we can send a friend a link and they can play it on the spot, wherever they are. But here's what makes this island special. We made it multiplayer, which means that single link lets people on different devices explore the same island together in real time. So let's take a step back and look at what we actually did. We started with nothing but single images and turned them into 6 completely different playable games. Every one of them lives on a real link we can share with anyone. And everything was made inside Higgsfield Games, which is the only place I've found that takes you from an image all the way to a finished game in one place. The link's in the description if you want to try it for yourself. But here's the thing. Building a game is only half the battle, because the same kind of workflow that just built these games can build something even more ambitious. A complete cinematic AI short film, directed almost entirely by AI. I handed that exact job to 3 of the biggest AI models in the world and gave them all one identical prompt to direct an entire film from scratch. And the differences between them were impossible to ignore. So if you want to see that entire process, click the video on screen right now.